With a culture rooted in European and Asian influences, as well as having some of the most breathtaking scenery on the planet, and the home of many historical and religious sites, we take a journey into the country of Turkey. The people of Turkey are the very definition of patriotic, often rallying together for a common goal despite any differences that they may have. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of FTD Facts. My name is Leroy Kenton, and this video was by request. Viewers like Tarkan Ozkan, Hodor Altiknikal, and Chilek Seker all requested for us to do facts about Turkey. Now, before we officially begin this episode, I got two things. First is a question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how patriotic are you to your country? Let me know down below, 1 being the lowest and of course 10 being the highest. And since we're taking a trip into the country of Turkey, I needed a little bit of help with these facts. Meet Konal. She's a friend of FTD Facts and she is like a Turkish expert.
Hi, my name is Konal and my YouTube channel is my name. Not the most unique person when it comes to creating the name, but my name is unique. I love Turkey for 3 things: food, people, and the soul of the city.
Now, first things first, we want to touch on where the name Turkey came from. It's believed that the name Turkey came from the word Turcica, and that's the word that the Italians used to use for Anatolia, which is the Asian portion of Turkey. And this usage goes back to early 12th century. And the Turks never used the name Turkey for the name of their land until the Republic of Turkey was officially established in 1923. The name Turkey, by the way, means land of the Turks. But before the modern era of Turkey emerged, there were several hurdles that the Turks had to go through. So let's take a look at a brief history of the rise of the Turkish nation. In the year 1453, the Ottoman Empire had captured Constantinople, which is a city that's located where Istanbul, Turkey currently occupies. This was during the reign of Sultan Mehmet II, who ruled from 1451 to 1481. And during this period, the Ottoman Empire had a massive amount of growth. And Konal has a little bit more information on just how wide the Ottoman kingdom stretched.
At the peak of its rule, the Ottomans ruled over the regions that currently make the countries of Greece, Yugoslavia, Bulgaria, Albania, and Romania in the Balkans, over the eastern Mediterranean islands, as well as what's known today Middle East.
However, as the Ottoman Empire failed to hold their position of military and economic dominance, they began falling way behind the developments of Europe. With rebellions by the Balkans of Eastern and Southeastern Europe that were being supported by other European powers, as well as Russia, the Ottoman Empire slowly began its fall. By the time World War I rolled around in 1914 to 1918, the Ottoman Empire was defeated officially in the year 1918. And that's when they were made to sign a document called the Armistice Mudros. And what this document allowed was for British, Italians, as well as others to occupy Ottoman territory. A man by the name of Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, commonly referred to as the father of Turkey, he had become the leader and the public spokesman for the Turkish national movement, which emerged as a response to these occupations of Ottoman territory. The Turks that were in the land wanted their own independence and their own territory. They didn't want to share it with the British or the Italians, and they wanted absolutely no trace of the old Ottoman Empire whatsoever. They wanted a land just for the Turkish people that embraced more modern and progressive ideologies. As a result, the Turkish National Liberation War was fought and won. The Republic then was officially declared on October 29, 1923. For the first time in centuries, the Turkish people were self-ruled. They had their independence. And Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, he was elected as the first president of Turkey. Well, now that you have a little bit more insight on how the country of Turkey emerged, let's take a look at some interesting facts about the country.
Istanbul, the most populous city in Turkey, spans 2 continents. Istanbul is a transcontinental city with the Bosphorus Strait running through it, and that strait actually separates Asia and Europe. The part that lies in Asia's side is called and known as Anatolia. it is commonly stated that Istanbul is the only city in the world that is located in two continents. But in actuality, that is not true. There's many other transcontinental cities. The largest one, though, of course, is Istanbul, Turkey, which is located on Asia and Europe.
Now, Konal just shared a little bit of information on Istanbul. However, Istanbul is not the capital of Turkey, despite popular belief. The capital of Turkey is actually Ankara. In the year 1923, the city of Ankara was declared the capital of Turkey in place of Istanbul.
Now, the hardest part. The longest word in Turkish language has 7 letters. Wait for it. Müveffegiyetsizleştiri veremeyebilecekleridir. I hate you right now. Müveffegiyetsizleştirebileceklerimizden misinizcesine. Mic drop! Booyah! In English, it pretty much translates into as of you're one of those who are not easily made into the maker of unsuccessful ones. The translation is even as confusing as the word itself.
So, question, have you ever heard of the Young Turks? No, not the YouTube news channel, The Young Turks. No. The Young Turks was actually a political movement in the early 1900s.
Oh yes, that's right. The movement was made of students, civil servants, and army officers who fought to get rid of traces of Ottoman Empire's rule and replace it with constitutional government.
And in the revolution that followed, the Young Turks helped to establish the second constitutional era in 1908. And that started multi-party democracy for the first time ever in the history of Turkey. This was before they became a republic. Now here we have the Church of St. Peter. This is located near Antakya or Antioch, Turkey. It's composed of a cave carved into the mountainside on Mount Stereus, and many people believe that this cave was used by the very first Christians, as well as it's one of Christianity's first ever churches. Many trace this back to the New Testament of the Bible in the book of the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 11, verse 26, where it says this: "The disciples were called Christians first in Antioch." And till this day, it's still a huge tourist attraction.
Until the introduction of surname law in 1934 as part of Atatürk's reforms, Turkish people didn't have last names. The law required of citizens of Turkey to adopt an official surname. But before that, they didn't have it, so they were using their dad's name as a surname, and they would just add the word Oğlu, which in Turkish translates into son of, into their name. Or they would use a nickname that was associated to their family, and they will put that before their birth name.
Now this next place blew my mind. Here we have Pamukkale, meaning Cotton Castle in Turkish. This is a natural site in southwestern Turkey, which contains hot springs as well as terraces of carbonate minerals left from flowing water. The ancient city of Hierapolis was built on top of the White Castle, which is a total of 8,860 feet long, 1,970 feet wide, and 520 feet high. Also, another interesting fact about the land of Turkey involves Santa Claus. St. Nicholas was actually born in the land of Turkey. He was born on the 15th of March in the year 270 in Patara, which was part of the Roman Empire, and Patara later was renamed to Arsinoe. It was a very rich and commercial city located in the Mediterranean coast of Turkey. Now, when it comes to sports, what exactly is the national sport of Turkey? Oil wrestling is actually the national sport, and yes, oil wrestling is exactly what it sounds like. Big old burly men wrestling covered in grease. As a matter of fact, the Kirkpinar oil wrestling tournament started in the 1300s, and it's the oldest continuously running sanctioned sporting competition in the world.
Now, the food in Turkey is amazing. It's literally, you can't go wrong with food there. Everything is delicious. The service is amazing. It's literally the best place to be at. Now, if you want to have an ideal vacation for your family or even for yourself, make sure to visit Turkey because it's honestly amazing. It's a great place to explore the history. It's the great place to enjoy delicious food, to meet the locals, which are super nice and kind. So make sure to visit it, and also make sure to visit my channel. And my channel name is Kanal once again, so make sure to check it out. It is obviously not the unique name for the channel, but in Turkish it's pronounced as Gönül, which translates into heart or soul. So it is a pretty unique name.
Thanks Konal so much for helping us out with these facts. And just so you know guys, we have a link to Konal's channel below in the video description.
Thank you so much FTD Facts for having me. I had the funnest time making this video, especially with the longest word. Müveffekiyetsizleştirebilemeyeceklerimizdenmişçesine. You thought you will get me. You did it. See you soon. Bye!
Hope you guys gained a lot more insight on the land of Turkey. Thanks for watching and we'll see you soon.